check, check. Hello, 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 check, check. 1, 2, check. Hello, hello.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will be resuming the conference, and this time it will be a panel discussion on discussing strategies and workable approaches. Kindly assemble moderator, Srimati Rama Devi Lanka. She is the Director of Emerging Technologies, Information Technology, Request you to come up on the stage. Our second panelist is Premkumar. He is the Robotic, AI and IA researcher from Logos Informatik.
76th independence, 75 years of independence, and in the next 25 years, India is an environment. And as a proactive government, we have already come out with our own framework, AI. A recent one that we have used AI is in e-voting project. All of us know during COVID, most of our information technology, of course, is used in large scale, e-commerce and so on. Which is likely to increase to about 16.3 billion by 2027. While the market opportunity is there, the second manufacturing process is becoming very complex and need to be adaptive. And the third one, that we are maintenance and safety. So there are innumerable AI use cases across the value chain of the crop. What are the challenges that the industry is facing today? What are the strategies now? The second one is how can AI augment these processes? And third one, what manufacturing
background. Basically, I come from an industry which has been working for last 50 years. And it has seen and driven the automation. So you can generate oil in a Arabian continent and send it to Japan or send it to Canada. That itself is an industry in itself. Industry in different levels. And I have seen the propagation of automation in industry from a very crude steps where we do things manually, where the connected systems are working together for some objective. That objective can be motivated towards safety, or and they can operate on a higher end. Same like your car. It can operate in one gear and make you reach to a destination, but that is not the most optimized way. This is what we are trying to achieve in an optimization. We are trying to achieve an objective which will help us create more value from that particular installed assumptions. We have to tolerate a lot of lumping of equations, right? So we will always lose some degree of order. Be running on a peak performance. It might tell you that these variables are the best to optimize. The gear ratio, the power ratio to a higher optimization layer. Meaning, previously you are running your car at 100 kilometers per hour, which is giving you some on-load out of the system, then the install base which try to restrict it. So that's my take, I guess.
Thank you, Nitin. In fact,
to Ramadevi madam, the process optimization and quality number 3 is going to be more lesser price. So you want to make your machine to produce only quality number 1. So what we get increase for the production company. So that's the main important value for a production company to use AI. So these two processes are going to give more additional value for the production companies. But in come for
which in turn will lead to more profits, and you can even use it for hiring good talent. So
look at the dashboards and tell us what action needs to be taken. Optimizing a process, they have a lot of heavy equipments, and understanding the behavior is humanly impossible if I just look at the pattern on a dashboard, right? So finding of the art at this point, I would say these are the 3 aspects the manufacturing organizations or the digital services of manufacturing.
So, hi, this is Phani. Put this way, like probably you have you are on a trip and your car broke down. So what happens is there are various instances where you did the maintenance, and before you go for the next maintenance, the OT, and nowadays with 5G, right? So the data transmission has become, that's a small example, but when it comes to the industry, it can be a bigger applications, right? In the first half of the day, saying that the regular maintenance, right, you have to turn on your inverters. Why is it save a lot of money, okay, on the things, right? So you can predict your remaining use over there when the maintenance is not needed, and probably in the sea or in the in the tunnels or in the mines, in terms of detrimental failures and in terms of unnecessary maintenance. Okay, so this is one way of the whole.
Maybe you can do away with the contracts. Yeah, that's a very good point that you said. So we use actually drones to capture the data and an AI algorithm that actually predicts, which solutions for predictive maintenance. So please let us know your views on this.
Yeah, thanks, Rama Devi. Right. Along with predicting the failure, if AI can help you identify to increase the life of any heavy equipment, right? That's one thing, right? The second thing is knowing, getting where there is still opportunities for AI to kind of help in the process.
Yeah, thank you.
I think I learned about the maintainability and reliability of the equipment 5 years ago when there was a live use case. This was a big down selling kind of an idea where the airline always go back and find out which part is causing that failure. They started optimizing the part side of it. That is something of flights. Now you will see that Indigo and companies now they are ready to say that if there is a down part of it, right? So that's my take on maintenance and reliability part. It's not only one predictability, it's kind of a
how AI can be actually used in this predictive maintenance, and how it can actually contribute to the overall value to the organization.
Sure. So this predictive maintenance is basically it's like maintaining devices. So we will not feel the loss of it. For example, in our home, we may have a smart environment, and we may have our as well as, and then when the people are using cloud, it will be very useful for other companies also to understand the same kind of machines. So they can improve the same kind of profit, and they can improve the quality of the machine still more. Yeah. So in this place we have to do. So that will be automated again for other, not in the human brain, other in other areas.
Even now the companies are trying to get back on their feet, especially the chip industry is still, trying to make up those losses. They said there is a decrease in costs to the company. That is one. And it also contributed to the increase
around, right? You might have seen the pandemic, how is that affected the chip industry, which affected laptops, which affected cars, which affected connected components, right? Cheap thing, right? In the stock, they would not have got affected, right? So the right price, the right inventory, so that area has been affected in a positive way. The second thing is the warehouse. In the supply chain area, logistics, the inventory, the safety stocks, the right price through AI, and there is a strong opportunity of AI in supply chain. Effect of these specific causal factors and incorporating it into
system, right from Government of India to the different states. And it's food grains, it could be agriculture, price discovery. For example, in agriculture, right now most of the farmers, they do not know what price, Akansha said. Yeah.
So I can give you a good example just close that point. So automatically in all over the nationally which stock, they'll immediately ask us to wait in the call for minimum 2 to 5 minutes, and they will check and go for the stocks whether it is available.
Food supply. In fact, most of these companies, Swiggy, Zomato,
should order later part, right? So you don't order bricks sensitive for us to say like they are not serving better. To consider that small piece, so there is a lot of math, right? So you just predict at the SKU level what are all the items and what stock you have to maintain, what is your economic order quantity, EOQ we call it. To expand your business to the rural population, the same product. So that gives what is the advantage of AI in these areas?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing.
It gets connected by a pipeline. That is certainty of the system being designed for it, right? This uncertainty, when can be quantified by AI, that can bring much more live, reliable quantification, which we can take from AI, learning from past experiences, learning from new models, and then bring that robustness to
Stipulated time, that's a very good point. Now, I think we have covered
challenging three things. First is the vision. You want to have AI as your first strategy, right? But if you want to do some kind of an experiment in AI, then you need to be very comfortable with fail first. You can fail a lot of times.
If they want to initialize, if they want to start implementing AI with them, they have to, there is some kind of value is there, some kind of profit is available in these things. But investment for do the R&Ds for their infrastructure is nowadays.
your infrastructure awareness.
First,
is what you have.
First, we will implement to the products of them.
Okay.
So the
Understanding. For every, I would say, data scientist, there has to be a subject matter expert to help the data scientist.
Spot on, I would say, data, digitization is the core of AI. I really like that.
So what problem you're trying to solve? And the second question is like, do you have the same thing what you people are saying? Okay. And just take a little bit of...
And you need to have a team in place, the right team in place. Third is areas within AI. I hope this session has been useful to all of you, for patiently listening. Any questions from your side? 5 minutes. We can take 1 or 2 questions.
Your name is Akansha. So what he said is right, because I have been observing this event. I have been to more than 1,000 conferences worldwide. That is one mentality I think which we should change, because I appreciate really you yourself, madam, and KTR sir, that your teams are very smart.
Yeah.
Because our 80% of our AI staff is from India.
Correct.
But here when I come to Indian companies, I don't want to...
Hello sir. So this question is to Nitin sir. Sir, I come from a chemical processing background. Shorter period of time. So is the data processing capacity is built now?
Now, how much of a dynamicity we are talking about depends on the process, right? Our controls are also made up for that only. Right? There are companies which are trying experimenting with that, right? And as you are a chemical engineer, you know that nobody will give you control. Yet floating point calculation, which is highly required for a very deep process optimization, right? Previously, there were Intel processor which dynamically has to respect that physical constraint, whether if I even ask the system to change, whether the system is able to change or not, like boundary. So yeah, we are approaching that. Why we are approaching that, I can give you an example. Right now, 5 years ago, when you're out your optimization. So same thing is possible and it's happening in industry, but it is taking its time because of the physical constraint.
Now, I request Mr. George Abraham to come ahead. Srimati Rama Devi to step ahead.